weather radio, commercial radio and television outlets, or internet sources for the latest severe weather information. Repeating, Tornado Watch number 635 has been issued until 10 p.m. Central Standard Time for the following counties in Alabama: Jackson, Limestone, and Madison, and the following counties in Tennessee: Giles and Lincoln. The metropolitan area weather conditions at 8 p.m. At Huntsville International Airport, skies were cloudy. The temperature was 66 degrees. The dew point was 62, making the relative humidity 87%. Winds were southwest at 5 miles an hour.
Just wanted to take a couple of minutes to provide you with a little bit of an update as far as a little bit of good news is concerned. As a matter of fact, I actually have a lot of good news for you. Giles County up in southern Middle Tennessee has been dropped from the tornado watch. Lincoln County up in southern Middle Tennessee, Lauderdale, Limestone, Madison, and Jackson counties up in southern Middle Tennessee remain under the tornado watch until 10 o'clock this evening. So I suppose this maybe begs a question. Why drop Giles but leave Lincoln? And then of course you have Franklin and Moore counties up in southern Middle Tennessee. And then why keep the North Alabama counties? Well, Giles County is under the discretion of the National Weather Service office up in Nashville, whereas Lincoln County in southern Middle Tennessee, and then obviously all of our North Alabama counties, are under the discretion of the National Weather Service office here in the city of Huntsville. The Nashville office felt it okay to go ahead and let the tornado watch expire early for Giles County up in southern Middle Tennessee. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Huntsville thinks the severe weather threat is greater right now in Lincoln County and our North Alabama counties. As a matter of fact, the severe weather threat is quite low. The National Weather Service is just kind of choosing to continue to let the tornado watch live on, potentially up until 10 o'clock. But I suppose there is a chance that they would let it expire a little bit early. We are beginning to see a little bit of rain develop across the Tennessee Valley. We've been talking about some rain across the Huntsville metro area, probably for about the last half hour or 45 minutes. A lot of that activity beginning to move into southern Madison County. We're not talking about much in the way of any sort of a thunderstorm activity, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder here. We really haven't seen any lightning associated with this, and I didn't hear any thunder when this activity was moving through the Huntsville metro area. Even extends up into Jackson County skyline, talking about a little bit of rain. Then we're talking about some rain in Gurley, Woodville, talking about a little bit of rain down into Owens Crossroads, Highway 431, Owens Crossroads, maybe all the way down into New Hope. Those folks talking about a little bit of rain. And then 231, as you're kind of heading down here into Morgan County, those folks may be talking about a little bit of rain. We're dry in the Huntsville metro area, down 565 back into Madison. We're dry Athens, Decatur, Priceville, Hartselle, Falkville. All those folks are dry this evening, dry across the I-65 corridor. I guess that probably would have been a better way to provide a bit of a summation for you. But yeah, we are talking about just a little bit of rain, and that's it. Pockets of heavier rain, yeah, where you see some of these deeper yellows getting into some of the darker reds. Skyline down to Gurley, down to Owens Crossroads especially. Maybe we're talking about some pockets of heavier rain, a brief little downpour. I was caught in a brief little downpour here in the Huntsville metro area. Really wasn't anything too serious. Honestly, it only stuck around for about 3 or 4 minutes. I was just fine. And then some lighter rain down into Woodville. So this activity is going to continue for the next little bit. Again, not even any thunder or lightning associated with this. We're just simply talking about a little bit of rain. If we head up a little bit further to the north, that's where we've been talking about some stronger thunderstorms over the last couple of hours. Murfreesboro back into Columbia, Tennessee, still talking about some stronger thunderstorms. None of this activity comes with any sort of severe thunderstorm warnings. If we were talking about any severe thunderstorm warnings, you would see flashing yellow boxes. We're not talking about any tornado warnings. As a matter of fact, we haven't seen a single tornado warning associated with this line of showers and thunderstorms that's kind of been hanging out up across Middle Tennessee for the last several hours. So again, Murfreesboro back into Columbia, Tennessee, maybe even down just north of Lawrenceburg. We're talking about a little bit of rain, maybe a couple of thunderstorms kind of between Columbia and Lawrenceburg. But even at that, if I just kind of look at the picture here, there's no lightning associated with any of this activity, so maybe we're just talking about a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of rain beginning to move into Fayetteville. So none of this activity is severe. Okay, and frankly, this activity, Fayetteville, back to Columbia, back to Lawrenceburg, you know, that's Shelbyville, not Fayetteville. Shelbyville. Fayetteville's down here. Shelbyville, Columbia, Lawrenceburg. That activity might just be even a little bit of rain, maybe not even talking about any thunder or lightning associated with that. And then of course you have our rain here in northern Jackson County, kind of extends all the way Scottsboro, even up into Stevenson, far northern Jackson County. But this has been the main area of focus for the last couple of hours, and we've been watching this for the last couple of hours because we really wanted to see how this kind of developed here on the backside of all of this activity that continues to push its way to the east. And it was what developed back here was going to be very telling of what we were going to get across the Tennessee Valley. And as of right now, we're really not going to get a lot of anything. Remember back during Fox 54 News at 5:30 and Fox 54 News at 6, I was kind of telling you that whatever developed south of I-40, that's what we would end up seeing across the Tennessee Valley. Well, some activity eventually developed south of I-40, Columbia down into Lawrenceburg, and it's just a little bit of rain. Maybe some of that rain, a couple of light sprinkles beginning to develop across northwest Alabama, northern Lauderdale County, but that's about it. All told, I tell you all of this to say that we might get some thunderstorms as we head into the later part of the evening, but the overall threat for severe weather continues to drop off quite significantly. The threat for severe weather is kind of dropping by the hour. Here's Futurecast, 9 o'clock this evening. Spotty showers across the Tennessee Valley, maybe a couple of embedded thunderstorms here, but this activity is more than likely not going to be severe. Honestly, this activity here at 9 o'clock this evening, it's probably going to have a difficult time being on the stronger end of the spectrum. We're now several hours beyond sunset. The sun set at 4:50 p.m. Maybe it was even like 4:48. So we've been without daytime heating for several hours at this point. And we were already south of the Tennessee River, not really talking about an environment that was overly conducive for the development of strong or even marginally severe thunderstorms. So at this point, the overall threat for strong and severe thunderstorms is going to be quite minimal. We are going to begin to see the activity increase across the Tennessee Valley, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We're looking at some isolated showers across the area, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder, but once we get to this point in the evening, the overall threat for severe weather is going to be minimal to non-existent, which is definitely some good news. The earliest hours of Saturday morning still holding on to a little bit of rain. That activity goes to our south as we head into the middle and later part of the morning. As a matter of fact, we're going to get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine. And then things are going to begin to change as we head into your Sunday. Some bitterly cold air is going to move into the Tennessee Valley. The coldest air we've seen so far this season, which is going to bring an abrupt halt to the growing season. So if you have anything kind of hanging out on your garden and you were trying to give it a couple of more days to do whatever it does in the garden, yeah, you're going to want to pick it tomorrow, because tomorrow would be your last day. Maybe even Sunday you could leave it. So here comes our cold front, secondary cold front. The rain and the storms we're potentially going to get this evening are associated with an initial cold front. A secondary cold front is going to move through the Tennessee Valley Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening and then through the overnight. On the backside of that cold front, we're going to find ourselves under the control of an area of high pressure across the upper Midwest. Maybe that's a little bit of a weird concept to think about the fact that we're going to be under the control of an area of high pressure across the upper Midwest, but that's exactly what's going to happen. The rotation around this area of high pressure is going to be such that our winds are going to have a really strong northerly component to them, which is going to bring down some insanely cold air. Not only are we going to bring air in from the upper Midwest, but we're also going to bring air down in from Canada, which at this point in early November, that air is incredibly cold, and it's going to be most noticed in the morning. Monday and Tuesday morning, we're talking about temperatures in the mid-20s across the Tennessee Valley. With that in mind, Monday is going to be a Fox 54 weather impact alert day, just because I think temperatures like this are going to come as a bit of a shock if you're going to be out early Monday morning. It's going to be a shock for the kids at the bus stop. 28 at 7 o'clock in the morning, 31 at 8, 33 at 9, 36 degrees. at 10 a.m. And I don't even really think that that's going to be the biggest problem. Oh, the biggest problem we're going to have Monday morning, and this is really the reason I wanted to go with the FOX54 Weather Impact Alert Day, is that it's going to be just a touch breezy. Winds out of the north. That's going to create a wind chill. 8 o'clock Monday morning, it is going to feel like it is in the upper teens and lower 20s. It's still warm right now, so if it's not raining where you live, maybe you could even step outside for a little bit because temperatures are still on the warmer end of the spectrum. As we head into the overnight, we don't move much. We're only going to drop into the mid-50s. 75 on Saturday, 55 on Sunday. That 55 on Sunday, that's probably going to occur within the first half of the day. Say, for example, you're going to the Havoc game on Sunday evening. That game's going to start at 5, so you're going to get there a little bit earlier. The conditions when you go in and the conditions when you go out are going to be so vastly different. You're actually going to want to plan for when you leave the game. You won't need a heavier coat going into the game, but you're going to need a heavier coat for when you leave the game, because by Sunday night, it is going to be incredibly cold. Fast forward to Veterans Day, it's going to be cold outside, there's no doubt about that, but we do get to enjoy plenty of sunshine. All told, I think Veterans Day is going to be quite nice, right around 51 degrees. So there's your FOX54 Weather Impact Alert Day on Monday. Monday afternoon, we're only going to climb into the lower 40s. I've got a high right around 41 degrees. Now, this is just a very short stint of cold air. Think of it that way. Heading into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, temperatures going to be back into the 60s across the Tennessee Valley. 64 on Wednesday, a pair of 67s both Thursday and Friday. Before I let you go, I just want to go back and look at the radar real quick, provide you with just one more update, just so we can kind of see what we're talking about on the radar, and then I'll also provide you with more information about that tornado watch. So Giles County has been dropped from the tornado watch, just kind of repeating what we had at the beginning for those of you that might have missed that. Lincoln County and then Lauderdale, Limestone, Madison, and Jackson counties remain under that tornado watch. Radar looks unimpressive right now, beginning to see a couple of light showers hanging out across northwest Alabama, northern Lauderdale County, north of Lawrenceburg. We'll get to that in just a second. But otherwise, we are talking about a little bit of rain, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder thrown into this mix from Jackson County down into southern Madison County, heading into Morgan County, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder. Skyline, Gurley, down into Woodville, Owens Crossroads, 231, 431. We're talking about some rain. But other than that, all is quiet. Even this activity here up into Tennessee is relatively inactive. We're talking about, there's a lot of lightning here, a lot of very heavy rain, but all of this continues to push to the east, and it's going to be a non-issue for us. You have this activity kind of in between Lawrenceburg and Columbia. Not a lot here, but it's a really good indicator of what we're going to end up seeing across the Tennessee Valley if this activity were to ever actually push its way into our area. And I think we would need more development here to end up seeing anything moving into our area, kind of south of Lawrenceburg. And maybe we're getting a couple of rain showers starting to develop, but that's about it. It's definitely going to remain sub-severe. That's what I'm expecting anyway, just because this activity here in between Columbia and Lawrenceburg is sub-severe. So we're going to continue to watch this over the next couple of hours. But again, at this point, the overall threat for severe weather is incredibly low.